questions.
What could possibly draw a reasonably evolved human person with a vagina to a hellscape like this?
Come on. I love this. It elevates me.
So you've never looked at something until all you can see is futility?
No.
My first normie.
Not that normal.
Uh-huh.
The junkyard is a really cool setting overall. It just offers so many great visual elements and really good job as far as picking a location. And the dialogue, it jumps back and forth. It goes really back. Great. They have a great sort of bounce around way that they go back and forth. These two actresses, and the dialogue circles around the relationship of these two girls in their own interpersonal struggles. We're seeing them discuss how they feel about cutting, how they feel about each other. Um, there's a lot of things that are unsaid, which is what makes this dialogue really, really smart. There are moments where it seems almost like they're talking about car parts, but in reality, it seems that they're actually talking about their relationship. And so there's a lot of moments within the dialogue and within the performances where the subtext is key, and it's almost what they're saying is not what they're saying. So I just thought that was a very smart way to go about this piece.
I thought it was a really great piece in terms of balancing emotional depth and sort of latent sexuality and an idea of trying to grow and change that was really matched with sort of not just the performances but the visual themes on display. The two lead actresses had a really great sense of chemistry and really reflected a dynamic that you thought was quite believable in terms of falling for each other very quickly, trying to learn about the other person and seeing how you can grow as an individual while also growing within the construct of their relationship. I thought the junkyard visual conceit obviously was really strong thematically. It really matched a lot of the conversations in terms of trying to change, trying to grow out of old ideas or old issues and problems that are sort of plagued you from the past, and the lead talents trying to reflect that in their performances, not just in terms of dialogue that I thought was pretty intelligent and interesting, but in terms of their physical performances and how they interacted with the space and with each other in particular. They really did a great job of carrying the piece. I thought it really ended up matching the music and the mood in particular that made it a cohesive idea that allowed them to be more than just sort of caricatures of women in this moment, but sort of reflect a real life relationship dynamic that I thought felt authentic.
Really amazing tracking shots that allow us to explore this really interesting environment, but they also work to slowly tease out the central conflict and idea, which I thought was really elegant filmmaking. And the way we are led to, the elephant in the room in the form of, the character's suicide attempts is gentle and it's nuanced and allows us to sympathise and feel the full weight of this issue. But for both characters, we understand the complexity of this scenario, and it shows just how hard it is to talk about these things, but also how that's a massive problem and how that contributes to the escalation of these things. So that's quite weighty, and it does it really elegantly. It's got, definitely got a real emotional intelligence to it, but it's also articulated with some really, really fantastic poetic dialogue that does a great job of bringing to life these very complex emotions. It's really enjoyable and it's really well written, and then also just sort of the use of the environment was really cool. Kind of metaphors in there about building things out of scrap, and but also just the way that the sun is bearing down on them and reflecting off all these, scrapped cars and everything just looks beautiful.
Felt like we weren't necessarily introduced to these characters. We dropped in on them during them living their lives. We kind of popped in the middle of their day, and we're just, as the audience, watching and putting together context clues as to who these women are, who are they to each other, what's their dynamic, are they upset with each other, are they having the best day, why are they there, what are they looking for, all of it. So many questions. And I like that because it felt like we weren't being fed information, and we had to kind of rely on the performances and the dialogue to get us where we needed to go, and we absolutely did. I thought it was really, it just felt like this is a real couple, or this is a real relationship. There's those awkward moments, there's those uncomfortable moments, there's tension, which isn't always bad, but it's there and it's electric, and you're just kind of waiting to see what happens. And I thought that it was so watchable and really well done, and just kind of this, yeah, just this like day in the life. And I just felt like we were kind of just voyeurs watching these two women.
Her passenger, with no words, seduces our driver through subtle movements, putting on red lipstick at the end of the sequence. It's the strongest symbol for a sultry number. This is a pair diving into the parts of their relationship. Literally, they're in a junkyard. Grace questions why a woman would ever want to be in a man's world as they embark this world of cars. And there's a sense that Grace is a free bird. She mysterious is her motto. She dances off and around the cars, and she ends up finding a golden woman at the end of one of the cars, pointing out the heteronormativity of the situation. And it just has a nod that we live in this patriarchal society. And as time goes on, Grace's walls break down, and she's in a sense ready to reveal her junk, aka her issues with self-harm, wanting her partner to question them and get to know her deeper, versus her partner is wanting to provide the space for her to lead the discussion, as she feels it's not her place to point out and bring out and initiate this conversation. And she goes back to what she knows, which is fixing cars, noticing cracks between the grates, even going as far as to say that this isn't going to work, nodding the tension between the pair's intimate standing. You know, they're fighting about cars, but they're nitpicking the tension of their relationship, and it seems to be crashing in this moment. And she sheds this layer of clothes, and it's shedding a layer to their relationship, it's shedding a layer to her vulnerability, and they get to have this really nice moment in the end.
Loved the tone of this movie, just the overall spirit of this movie. It felt very indie and free-spirited and coming of age. I love the use of sunshine and natural light, and the driving shots at the beginning of the film to sort of create that feeling and create that tone. This movie is extremely economic in the sense that there's a ton going on in a relatively short time frame. There's just so much character and story and drama jam-packed into this one. It's very rich. I love the character dynamics and the dialogue and the clever, witty, intellectual banter going on all throughout.
The performances were both so strong, wow, both gradually revealing such intimate parts of themselves. And the script was so poetic and intelligent, lots of clever banter and playfulness. I just loved the setting of the car junkyard. It really worked with the essence of the story, as both are trying to shed old, painful memories. Lots of great camera work, and love the guitar and vocal.